welcome to training video 2 for the Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs AmeriCorps program. My name is Megan Ellis and I'm your Alliance Director. On this training video, we'll be going through the member reports that are due from each member. What you should have with you while we go through this again is your Oklahoma Alliance AmeriCorps Member Handbook. I'd like to refer first in the handbook to, if you go past the table of contents, past the important dates, you get to your report submission checklist. Again, this has the date of everything that's due throughout the entire program year. So as you turn something in, check it off and make a note of what's due next and what day it's due on. We're going to look at the reports and the different paperwork that's due throughout the life of this grant year, and we're going to look at them as to how often you do them. So we'll be going through this chart, and we'll be looking also through your AmeriCorps member file box. Now, at the beginning of the program, the first thing you need to do is identify the youth participants or Boys and Girls Club members that you'll be working with. You should work with your site supervisor to identify these youngsters. Each AmeriCorps member is responsible for tracking 30 youth participants through the program. So, how do you track these 30 youth participants? The first thing that you need to get once you've identified them, and this is in the very front of your member file box, is a parent permission slip. Now, as most Boys and Girls Club staff will tell you, if you send these home, you probably won't get them back. Or you won't get them back without sending them home 5 or 6 times. Our recommendation to you, stand at the front of the club when parents are checking their kids out. Say, "Hi, I'm an AmeriCorps member. My job here is to help kids get their homework done and be better academically engaged. Does your child have your permission to participate in this program?" Have them sign this document right then and there and give it back to you. It's generally pretty easy to get them that way. The second thing that you'll need once you've gotten their permission form is to give each child the Power Hour survey. This survey can be found in your member binder. There's a survey for youth ages 7 to 9 and a survey for youth ages 10 to 12. Now, maybe some of your 30 youth are 6 years old or 13 and older. You don't give them a survey. Ideally, you would want to collect surveys from 30 kids, but I know that that's not always possible. So if you're working with teens or with 6-year-olds, don't give them a survey that wasn't developed for them. When you're giving youth the survey, go through it with them. Your younger kids are going to burn out before they hit the end, and that's true possibly of your older students as well. You can sit with them while they go through it. Try not to influence their answers. Just make sure that they're actually reading and answering the question. Again, the actually reading it part might be hard for some of your kids. So if you need to read them the questions and the options, that's absolutely fine. Just try not to influence their decision on which one they mark. We're trying to make sure that they don't get tired halfway through and just start checking the second column over and over and over again, or not understand that when the survey is talking about Power Hour, it means homework help. So they mark, "I've never been to Power Hour," but you know that they come to homework help every day. Permission forms and Power Hour surveys should be placed in the member file box. You have 30 blank manila folders. You should write the names of your 30 youth participants on those folders and file their parent permission form and their Power Hour survey under their name. That's what you need to do for setup. Now, daily, when your youth participants come into your Power Hour classroom, you're going to take their attendance. There's a folder in your binder marked Program Attendance. There are extra copies of the program attendance form in your member binder, and I can also send them to you electronically. My recommendation, once you have your 30 members, write their names and photocopy this blank one so that you're not having to rewrite the names of your 30 youth participants every week. This is the Power Hour attendance tracker that comes with the Power Hour program. So like I said, you'll write their names, and then there's places for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's an attendance column where you check if they're there or not. There's a homework column where you can check if they brought their homework. Use this column if it's helpful to you or helpful to your incentive program, but it's not required for the AmeriCorps program. The third column says TP, not toilet paper, targeted programs. I want you to know where your youth are going after Power Hour. A targeted program is defined as anything that has a Boys and Girls Clubs of America curriculum. So if they say they're going to Smart Girls, Smart Moves, Healthy Habits, Passport to Manhood, Triple Play, anything that's a Boys and Girls Clubs of America curriculum-based program, you can put a check. They don't have to come to your targeted program. They can go to any targeted program. What we really want to know is, after Power Hour, are they just chilling in the gym? Are they hanging out on the playground? Or are they doing something that has a learning goal and a learning objective? This you should do every day. This is the one that you need to not get behind on, because when you come to work the next day, you will not remember all of the kids who were there or the kids who weren't there. If you're absent or sick a day, don't stress about it. There should be another Boys and Girls Club staff member in your Power Hour program. You can ask them to help you with this. Your site supervisor can help on the days you're absent. Or if your club site has member tracking software where kids can check in and check out of the different activities they go to during their club day, you can also use that to find out if they're in Power Hour. When these are completed, they should be filed in the program attendance folder in your member file box. The other thing you're going to record daily is the adult to child ratio in Power Hour. This is simply the number of kids in your Power Hour session and the number of adults. There should always be at least 2 adults, an AmeriCorps member and a staff member. Record this daily. File it under ADA for Power Hour. That's average daily attendance for Power Hour. Those are the 2 things you need to do each day. Once you get into a routine, it's really simple. Check your kids' attendance when they come in. Stand by the door when your Power Hour kids are going out and just say, hey, what program are you going to next? That's all you need to do to get your daily record keeping done. The next section that we're going to look at is the as needed. This is paperwork that you do just as it needs to be done to track your different AmeriCorps objectives. The first one is incentive programs. Again, in your AmeriCorps file box, there's a folder marked incentive programs. Everything should be easy to find and clearly labeled. Whenever you have an academic incentive program, let's say that your incentive program is everybody who brings their homework for every day for a month, you're going to have a pizza party at the end of the month. Everybody who makes at least 1A and 1B on their report card, you're going to have an ice cream party. Anytime you do an incentive program, or if you give out candy bars, if you do field trips, it's really up to you and your site. You're going to have, again, the names of your 30 youth participants, last and first. I recommend writing them in and then photocopying the blanks so that you don't have to rewrite them for every new sheet. You put the date that the incentive program happened on, what it was, ice cream, pizza, extra time on the playground, and then if a child participated in it, you put a check by their name. Pretty simple. Whenever you have an incentive program, use this little attendance roster and then file it back under incentive programs. The next as needed one is community outreach documentation, COD. Again, there is a COD folder in your AmeriCorps file box. This is for when you go out into the community to tell groups about how impactful your Boys and Girls Club and your Power Hour program are. It's a simple form. Member name is you, Boys and Girls Club site, that's the Boys and Girls Club you're serving at, and community group or event. So maybe it's your college class, Kiwanis, Rotary, Chamber of Commerce, Parent-Teacher Association, something like that. You put in who you're talking to, and then just fill out this short form. Number of people present at the meeting, give a short description of your presentation. What did you talk about while you were there? Did you get any responses or questions? Did you pass out or leave behind any materials? And this is a good time for me to say that as an AmeriCorps member, you can log service hours developing volunteer recruitment material. So if you have a knack for writing or graphic design or just like building trifold brochures on the computer, you can log AmeriCorps service hours doing that. And finally, how many people provided contact information for follow-up? Make sure when you go to these that you take something so people can give you a phone number or an email address so that your club can follow up with them on their interest in volunteering. Fill this out. It goes in the COD folder. Approved volunteers. So your community outreach just totally rocks. Everybody wants to come to the Boys and Girls Club and volunteer. Well, when they come and volunteer, as you guys know, you have to pass a background check to be around our kids at the Boys and Girls Club. If they pass their background check, you can take the cover sheet from that background check saying they passed, make a copy of it, and put it in the approved volunteers folder. It is not your job as an AmeriCorps member to process their background checks or to train volunteers. Your job is to get out in the community and let people know about it, and then once they've passed that volunteer background check, you can count them on your performance measures, and then you should be willing to help them once they're in Power Hour. Help them get settled and make sure that they have a positive experience and that they get to connect with kids. I'm going to set this down and flip the chart. The last thing that is an as-needed form is a member reflection. When Leonard Thomas, our program director, and I come for your site visits, before we come, we'll send you a member reflection form. This is a chance for you to give us your candid, honest, open responses about what's going on at your site. We will not share these with your site supervisor. We'll be the only two people who see them, and this is a great confidential way if you have a sticky situation that you want to bring up. Site visits happen 2 times a year, or extras if you need them and request them. Okay, the big one, your monthly member reports. What do you turn in every month, the member report, and entering your time in Encore? In your AmeriCorps binder, under the section marked Member Reports, there is a step-by-step guide on how to enter your time in Encore. If I pull it up on the computer, it's going to be so small that you won't be able to see it. But I promise, if you follow this step-by-step guide, you will be able to enter your time in Encore. When you first start, your login and your password are the same. It's the first letter of your first name and your full last name. For instance, my name is Megan Ellis, so my login is M. Ellis. Your password will be the same. Once you get in the first time, it will prompt you to change your password. If you forget your password or lose your password, just let me know. I can reset it for you back to the first letter of your first name and your full last name. Time in Encore has to be approved by your site supervisor by the 10th of the month. You should talk to your site supervisor about when they want you to have your time entered in order for them to be able to approve it. It has to be in and it has to be right on the 10th of the month for your site to get reimbursed for your living allowance. This is very important to your site supervisor, so make sure you talk to them about when you need to have your time in. You should also keep a hard copy backup of your time. Don't just record your time in Encore. Encore can be unreliable, it can be in a bad mood, it can lock you out, it can lose your information. So you should keep a manual time card at your site, either a punch card or something in your site supervisor's office where you write down your time in and time out and initial it each day. Something so that if Encore and the internet exploded, we would have a document to show that you were getting your service hours. The next thing that's due each month is your member monthly report. Most of the questions on your member monthly report are answered by looking at the files that you keep in your AmeriCorps member file box. Let's go through the monthly report. It's pretty short. The first 2 questions on it our average daily attendance in Power Hour for all club members, and average number of children per adult in Power Hour. This pertains to your entire club population. Your site supervisor can help you get these numbers from their member tracking system. Again, I want to know how many kids are in Power Hour for the whole club and what the average adult to child ratio is for that month. The next set of questions are only about the youth in your AmeriCorps program, and this is where your AmeriCorps file box comes in. Number of youth participants who have a parent permission form on file in the file box. This is the total number for the program. Once this number reaches 30, it won't change. We just want to see that you have 30 permission slips on file. The next two questions are about program attendance. Number of youth participants who attended Power Hour 4 or more times per week. So who came to Power Hour at least 4 times a week? Pull out your attendance tracking spreadsheet, the one that you had in here where you're marking off who's coming to Power Hour, and figure out how many of your kids came to Power Hour 4 or more times per week. The next two questions are about targeted programs. Who attended a targeted program at least 2 times per week, and who attended a targeted program 3 or more times per week? These are not tough questions, but you need to leave yourself time to count all those little check marks that you've been making throughout the month. The next question is number of youth participants who attended an academic incentive program this month. So we looked at the academic incentive program form where you're checking off who attended. Let's say you have an ice cream party and a pizza party. 25 kids attend the ice cream party, 20 kids make it to the pizza party. You're going to count all of those kids' gifts. You're going to add 25 plus 20 for 45. I know that means you're counting each child for each program that they're going to, but that's what we want. How many incentives total did you give out? So however many came to your pizza party, however many came to your ice cream party, however many got a candy bar, you're going to add up those lines and then add all those totals together. The next section is about volunteer recruiting. Please list the number of community presentations you did this month. Number of volunteers who have consented to and passed a background check to participate in homework help and BGCA targeted programs this month. These two numbers are not total, I'm just asking about that specific month. The last two questions are about your service experience. Please share a compelling story from this month of service. If you can't think of a compelling story, then you're obviously not paying very much attention to your kids. This is an opportunity for you to reflect on the impact that you're having. Kids are always telling us something heartfelt, something honest, something unexpected. So think about one of those times and share that with me and Leonard. The last question is list any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this month of service. Site supervisors will look at these, so if you have a sticky situation, feel free to contact Leonard or I directly. If you just have like some general comments, questions, concerns, things that are going well, things that are a little bit rough, feel free to put those in there and we'll read them and get back to you. This is the member monthly report. Again, it's not hard, it's not rocket science. You just need to plan some time to do it because you're going to have to count the check marks from your attendance programs and make sure that your site supervisor has a chance to look at it before you send it in. If you're at a site with multiple members, which most of you are, each member submits a monthly report. Okay, the last one, end of term. Near the end of the school year, we're going to give the Power Hour survey again. It's the exact same survey, and we're looking for change over time. At our last member training of the year, you will help me input this data and we'll see what kind of impact we had on our youth participants. Once they've filled the Power Hour survey out, file it in your AmeriCorps member file box under that youth participant's name. The final thing that you'll fill out is you will exit yourself through the My AmeriCorps portal. This is very, very important. I will send you emails about when your exit form is unlocked, and then you will have to log into the portal and fill that out. If you don't fill out your exit form, you will not have access to your education award. So at the end of the year, again, I can't say how important this is. Make sure you're paying attention to this, that you save your My AmeriCorps login from the beginning of the year, and that you go into the portal and exit yourself. These are all of the things that are due throughout the year. The biggest part is just keeping up on the day-to-day things. They're quick. Just make it a routine. If you have questions about the monthly reports, if AmeriCorps is giving you a hard time, or you don't remember exactly what you're supposed to enter in one of the lines for the monthly report, you can watch this video again. You can ask your site supervisor, or you can contact me at meganbrownellis@gmail.com, or my phone number 405-312-7729. Now that we're at the end of this video, please email me with your favorite animal in the subject line so I know that you watched the entire video. Thanks, and I hope you have a great year of service with the Oklahoma Alliance AmeriCorps program.